In this video, we look at what is a good interest rate when buying a home. That's coming right up.
Welcome to Home Buyers School, brought to you by Brookfield Residential.
Hi everyone, welcome to another Home Buyer School video, a channel where you get the latest strategies, tactics, and tips from home buying experts. And remember, if this is your first time on this channel and you want to get the latest strategies from the experts, make sure to hit the subscription button below, hit the little notification bell so you don't miss anything. So today I'm joined by Mushtaba Sayed, mobile mortgage specialist with TD Canada Trust. And the question we're going to answer today is, what's a good interest rate when buying a home?
Yeah, that's a great question, Carl. So interest rates, they kind of vary. The best interest, in my opinion, is the lowest interest rate. So when you are talking to your bank, talking to your mortgage specialist, find out what's available. Now, interest rates are technically not just the lowest number possible. It depends on rates, terms outstanding, how many years. So for example, it also depends on what your guys' goals are and what you're expecting long term. So if you're expecting to sell your house within the next 2 years, maybe don't go into a longer term. Stick with a 2-year term or shorter, so you don't look at any exiting penalties or anything like that. But in my opinion, the best rate is always the lowest rate that you can get.
So Mo, what is the effect of higher and lower interest rates on when you're trying to purchase a house?
Yeah, exactly. So rates are just based most on term, right? So for example, if you want to go for a different term, it could impact your rates. Banks have rates starting from 1 year all the way up to 10-year fixed sometimes. We also have available 5-year variables, 3-year variables. So the best thing to do is really just have a conversation with your specialist or your lender and explain to them what your goals are, and they can advise you on what's best for you. It's not always the best to go for a 5-year fixed or 5-year variable. You could go for a 2-year, you could go for a 3-year, you could sometimes even go for a 10-year if it makes the most sense for you. But those are conversations to have with your specialist or your lender at that time.
So in this environment though, in the environment we have with the recent interest rate hikes, is it better to have a shorter term or a longer term?
In this scenario right now, where 5-year fixed rates have gone up, economy is very unstable, a lot of things are going on. I have been really recommending all my clients to look into the variable rates right now. The 5-year variable rates right now have major discounts. A lot of people worry about the 5-year variable rate, asking what happens if it goes up in the future. Yes, there is a potential it can go up in the future, but the discount is so big that it gives you time to react. Every time the Bank of Canada reviews rates, it gives us time, right? And then a 5-year variable has provisions built into the rate where you can lock in at any time without penalties for a greater term than what's outstanding. For example, if you have a 5-year variable, you could lock in for a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year fixed, whatever's available at that time, without the penalties. So it's a really good way for a 5-year variable today to kind of average your interest rate, so over the 5-year term. So try to get some lower rates. It might go up, it might come down, but overall the discount's so big right now that you're going to probably do better than a 5-year fixed today.
And remember, if you want to know more about comparing mortgage rates between the banks, check out our video above for more information. So Mo, how much does a mortgage interest rate really matter in terms of when you're buying your home?
Yeah, so mortgage rates are probably one of the most important things. It determines what your payments are, what your repayability is, how much you end up paying back to the bank. All of that stuff is really just based on your interest rate. It has a big factor in playing in your decisions when who you want to lend, who you want to go through as a lender, or how much you want to borrow. So interest rates, like I said, the lowest, the better.
Is that usually the first thing that you take a look at when you're thinking about applying for a mortgage, the interest rates?
The first thing I kind of do is look at my budget. I look at to see how much can I afford, because interest rates right now, most banks are going to be within a tenth of each other. They're not going to be totally off. So I would first to see what my pre-approval is, what my budget is, and then fix a monthly budget for myself. And then once I know what my monthly budget is that I'm comfortable with, then see what interest rate gets me closest to that payment, so I know I can afford it. And then you want to see what terms come with that interest rate to see if it's beneficial for yourself. So if you have less prepayment privileges, or you feel like you're stuck in for a long time and the exiting policies are a little bit more stricter, then you might want to look at other things. But it all just really depends on what your future goals are, how you feel after speaking to your lender, your specialist, after listening to your goals and concerns should be able to direct you into the right direction to see what rate is best for you, what term is best for you, and then kind of go from there.
Does it make sense to also think about your ability to pay that mortgage and take into that interest rate into account, right? So if you are going 5-year variable, you want to make sure that over that course of the 5 years, you can actually pay off even if the interest rate increases. Absolutely,
yes. You want to take a look at that, but with the 5-year variable, sometimes you can argue the fact that there's no stopping it, right? They could come to, there's no maximum. Like if the bank account kept on raising rates, we do have to be realistic. You could look at historical trends and see where prime was and to where it is today. But even then, 5-year variables have provisions built into it, so you don't get sky high rates, or you feel like you're stuck in it and you can't get out. 5-year variable rates do have provisions of locking in for, like I said, like a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year term. Every bank, every lender will have different provisions, but variables, every lender will have a provision to kind of safeguard your interest rate, so it doesn't go higher than what you are willing to pay or what you can pay.
Perfect. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think the best thing to do is just have like an honest discussion with your lender and your specialist, and just tell them what your goals are and explain to them what your monthly budget is and how much you are comfortable paying, and then they can sit down and work out a plan with you and for you to see these are the best rates possible. And sometimes 5-year variables are not always the best rate. You want to look at what makes most sense for you. I've had some clients that have gone into 2 years for the term of their life of their mortgage, and I've kept on renewing because they were most comfortable with their 2-year. So it's not always the best just to look at what the 5-year is. Always check what all the rates are and then kind of go from there. Sometimes banks have big rate discounts available on different terms, like a 3-year, 4-year, maybe even a 5-year, 6-year, and see what's best for you. And then, like once again, have that honest discussion with your specialist and lender, and they can guide you in making the right choice.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Mo. Thank you very much for joining us. And remember, we have a lot of mortgage and mortgage rate videos in our playlist below in the description. So have a look at that, and we'll catch you next time.
That's another edition of Homebuyer School. Tune in next time for more expert tips and tricks. And visit homebuyerschool.ca to bring you one step closer to finding your dream home. As with everything, it would be great if you like and share our videos. Also, please let us know if you have any home buying questions you want us to answer.